All right, let's definitely cover this story because I wanted to find out some more about this girl because she was going hard for Trump and America after the stolen election, and apparently it's kicking her ass. People should see it. I just not me, bro. Just not me. I don't want to see it. All right, well, if you're new to the live, welcome. My name is Randall. This is the McClures. We react, review, we make fun of, we laugh at stuff. Links are in the description if you'd like to help support the stream. Your support is needed. We constantly get banned off of YouTube and platforms, so personal support is always welcome. Always welcome. I wanted to check out some more of the story going on about the Georgia election case against Trump. That's where they charged 19 people with a whole plethora of felonies, including lawyers. And a couple of them have pled guilty to some stuff. Now, when you're up against the federal government with a 99% conviction rate, plea deals are very often. It definitely doesn't mean that you're guilty, but it means that you don't want to risk a longer jail sentence if you can get away with probation or something for pleading down to something minor. So I don't know if that's the situation. I don't know if these people have actually like flipped against America and Trump, and now that they think now that it wasn't stolen? Or are they just going along with what they have to do to get through this situation? So I'm curious. But this article comes to us from Politico. Jenna Ellis, a Trump campaign attorney who worked with Rudy Giuliani to press state legislators to overturn the 2020 election results, pleaded guilty Tuesday to a felony charge that she participated in an effort to make false statements to Georgia lawmakers about election fraud. So she participated in an effort to make false statements to Georgia lawmakers. Ellis is a third Trump-aligned attorney in recent days to plead guilty to crimes stemming from the 2020 election, joining both Sidney Powell and Kenneth Chesebro, who each accepted deals to admit to aspects of the charges brought by Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. All three lawyers have been charged alongside Donald Trump and many of his other allies with a sprawling racketeering conspiracy. These pleas may reshape the case against Trump, supplying prosecutors with testimony from some of his closest advisors, who are now admitting for the first time that some of their actions crossed a line into criminality. Is that what they're actually admitting, though? If I knew then what I know now, I would have declined to represent Donald Trump in these post-election challenges, Ellis said through tears during a court appearance in Atlanta Tuesday morning. But I'd be curious, has she done any press statements or any interviews since? Because what does she mean, if I knew what I know now? Does that mean if I knew that I would have been thrown under the bus because I helped support Trump? You know what I mean? Is she talking about them bringing charges against her for acting as a lawyer? Or is she talking about she's had a change of mind on what happened in the election? I would assume it's the former. So Ellis acknowledged that she helped supply false information related to claims by Giuliani and another Trump lawyer that nearly 100,000 mail-in ballots were fraudulently cast, that 2,500 felons illegally voted, that more than 60,000 underage people illegally registered to vote, and that more than 10,000 dead people voted in the November 3rd, 2020 presidential election in Georgia, among other assertions. She agreed to cooperate with prosecutors in future proceedings, serve 5 years of probation, pay $5,000 in restitution, and write a letter of apology. Who's the restitution to? The state of Georgia? That doesn't make any sense. So Ellis, 38, described herself as a relatively junior member of Trump's legal team. I relied on others, including lawyers with many more years of experience than I, to provide me with the truth and reliable information, Ellis told the judge in the case of Scott McAfee. What I did not do, but should have done, Your Honor, was to make sure that the facts the other lawyers alleged to be true were in fact true. In the frenetic frenetic, and the frenetic pace of attempting to raise challenges to the election in several states, including Georgia, I failed to do my due diligence. After the election, Ellis traveled often with Giuliani to states won by Joe Biden and pushed Republican lawmakers to appoint alternative slates of presidential electors. During her statement to the judge Tuesday, Ellis alluded to her previous admission to misrepresenting claims of election fraud in a deal she reached with Colorado authorities, who disciplined lawyers for misconduct. Ellis's lawyers agreed with prosecutors that the offense she admitted to Tuesday was not a crime of moral turpitude. That agreement, which is also part of the guilty plea by the other Trump-affiliated lawyers, could help them avoid disbarment and other serious actions against their law license. See, there's the crux of it. If you plead guilty to this and you testify and drop dime on other people, we won't take away your law license. And to a 38-year-old woman who has, a 30, 40-year career in front of her, supposedly as a lawyer, which is why she went to law school and everything, they're threatening to take that away. So a lawyer for Trump said the prosecution's willingness to drop the racketeering charge and agree to probation for Ellis undercuts the existing indictment. What that shows is that the so-called RICO case is nothing more than a bargaining chip for Willis. The lawyer, Steve Sato, said in a statement, referring to the state's Racketeering Influenced and Corruption Organization Act. Sato also noticed that the charge to which Ellis pleaded guilty doesn't even mention President Trump. Ellis was a prominent figure in Trump's orbit in the chaotic weeks following the November 3rd, 2020 presidential election. Though she didn't appear in any Trump campaign litigation, she was a fixture alongside Giuliani as they pressed state lawmakers to credit the claims of election fraud that Ellis now says she no longer believes. That's what I was waiting for. So is that what she said, that she no longer believes? Ellis also played a role in efforts to press the Vice President Mike Pence to refuse to count Biden's presidential electors. She drafted memos that were circulated among Trump allies supporting Pence's authority to sidestep existing laws and simply declined to open envelopes containing Biden's electoral votes. Prosecutor on the case said in a court Tuesday that Ellis didn't do what she needed to do to check the accuracy of information presented at a December 3rd, 2020 Georgia Senate hearing, and similarly proceedings elsewhere in the country. The false statements were made with reckless disregard of the truth and with conspicuous disregard of the truth and with conspicuous purpose to avoid learning the truth, Prosecutor Daisha Young said. 4 of Trump's co-defendants in the Georgia case have now reached plea deals with prosecutors Ellis, Powell, Chesebro, and a bail bondsman named Scott Hall, who was involved in a post-election breach of voting equipment in Coffee County, Georgia. So does she make a statement? Jenna Ellis statement.
As an attorney who is also a Christian, I take my responsibilities as a lawyer very seriously, and I endeavor to be a person of sound moral and ethical character in all of my dealings. In the wake of the 2020 presidential election, I believed that challenging the results on behalf of President Trump should be pursued in a just and legal way. I endeavored to represent my client to the best of my ability. I relied on others, including lawyers with many more years of experience than I, to provide me with true and reliable information, especially since my role involved speaking to the media and to legislators in various states. What I did not do, but should have done, Your Honor, was to make sure that the facts the other lawyers alleged to be true were in fact true. In the frenetic pace of attempting to raise challenges to the election in several states, including Georgia, I failed to do my due diligence. I believe in and I value election integrity. If I knew then what I know now, I would have declined to represent Donald Trump in these post-election challenges. I look back on this whole experience with deep remorse. For those failures of mine, Your Honor, I have taken responsibility already before the Colorado bar who censured me, and I now take responsibility before this court and apologize to the people of Georgia. Thank you.
Dinnerly is simply delivered home conveniently.
I don't know. She seems like a flip-flopper now. She seems like a flip-flopper. You seem like a bit of a flip-flopper. Definitely seems like a little bit of a flip-flop. But everybody's speculating on what she means by, if I knew what I know now, I wouldn't have represented Trump. To me, that sounds like if I known all his lawyers were going to be arrested for working for him, I wouldn't have worked for him. That's what it means to me. But that kind of sounded like she was throwing Sidney Powell and Giuliani under the bus, going, look, I was just repeating the stuff the senior lawyers on the team were telling me, and that what they were telling me is incorrect. Have they proven that stuff to be incorrect? I don't think that they have. So, in order to be convicted of saying something was false, they have to prove it was false, right? So how do you prove that 10,000 dead people didn't vote in Georgia without opening up the ballots and going through them? Right? Which they never did. So it doesn't make any sense to me. How can you prove her statements wrong when you're not willing to actually check to see if they were wrong? That's what doesn't make any sense to me. That's what makes no sense to me whatsoever. So here's Eric Matheny, criminal defense attorney here, 16 years experience. If you are charged in a state level felony case on August 14th of 2023 and you plea out on October the 24th, you did not incur $260,000 in legal expenses. I can assure you of that. I promoted the GoFundMe because I thought Jenna Ellis was getting railroaded, which I believe she was, but I'm willing to guess there is about $185,000 of unused funds that should be returned to the donors. So her criminal defense GoFundMe raised $250,000 because Trump people supported her. And then she's going to flip-flop like that, plead guilty, and what, pocket the money? I don't know. I don't know. Seems a little fishy.